Welcome back, YouTubers, to a TNA No Surrender 2011 preview of us, the British Fist.
Catching.
I am Mr. Parkin, once again wearing my V-neck England shirt, as I am British, and so is NJ. This guy sitting next to me, oh, by the way, is NJ.
What's up?
If you didn't already know, which you should know. What's up, NJ? What's up to you guys up there? TNA No Surrender predictions video. Make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and get your thoughts on what you think the pay-per-view is going to bring to you down below.
Make sure you contact us in the links below.
Yes, we have Skype, Twitter, Facebook, don't we? And our own individual channels, which you should both go check out. NJ17 and Mr. Parkin01. Little tiny plug there for our channels, I guess. So, in this video, we're basically going to be giving our thoughts on the pay-per-view and the matches that we're going to be getting. This is the big pay-per-view that's, I think, setting us up for Bound for Glory, which is TNA's main pay-per-view of the year. What are your thoughts on the on the hype of the pay-per-view as a whole? TNA's pay-per-view.
Okay. Some of the hype's been thrown at the last minute because they've been concentrating on Bound for Glory series, so some of the other matches have just been hyped up recently. But again, I think they gave us a good feeling for this whole Angle and Sting thing. That's been hyped up for a while now, so they've done well with that. But some of the other matches I think were just hyped up at the last minute sort of thing. Yeah,
you have matches there like Mexico America, Pope and Devon. Tag team champion. I think this is going to be the first pay-per-view where I'm not looking forward to the tag title match. Like NJ said, a lot of stuff in there was thrown in there a little bit last minute. We did feel the go-home show was the best, but the card looks somewhat decent. And with the Bound for Glory series thing there, the semi-finals and finals, I'm really looking forward to seeing if that is actually going to be the main event of this pay-per-view. The pipe itself hasn't been the best, but I guess this is kind of the pay-per-view, the sort of throw-in pay-per-view that helps. That really does more for both Bound for Glory than it really does for its own pay-per-view.
I think so too, yeah.
That's the kind of purpose of this pay-per-view, in my opinion, and it kind of shows by the card and what we have. Any more thoughts before we start?
Let's start.
Right then, the first match we've got down here is, we don't usually trust Wikipedia, but this match was on Wikipedia, so we thought we'd talk a little bit about this. It's Kid Cash versus Jesse Sorensen in a #1 contendership for the X Division Championship. Now, one thing I will say is, these two have had a rivalry, although it wasn't featured on the go-home show. It's a #1 contendership match to the X Division Championship, which means we're going to have 2 X Division matches in the night, which to me is good, because I love X Division action.
With Kid Cash and Jesse, I'm not really too bothered about this, but at least it's another match for the card.
Yeah, well, for me, I imagine Kid Cash is there to put Jesse Sorensen over as the next guy. If indeed they do this match, it's not official yet, I don't think. But it's a #1 contendership match. At least they're doing a #1 contendership match on a pay-per-view to a championship, which is good. So I expect this to be a somewhat decent match with Jesse Sorensen winning, Kid Cash putting him over, seeing as he's the older veteran, and Jesse Sorensen is kind of a new, younger guy.
That'll probably be the case, yes.
Yeah. Next, we get the TNA Tag Team Championship match, which again was a bit last minute. We have Pope and Devon win a #1 contendership match against British Invasion. When British Invasion lose, we riot, don't we?
It is disappointing when they do, because Pope and Devon, they're just a tag that have been put together at the last minute just to make sure there's a championship match at pay-per-view.
And Mexican America versus Pope and Devon, it's not really the kind of match I would look forward to too much. I don't mind Pope and Devon being a tag team, it's just that without beer money, I just feel this tag team match doesn't really give me too much to look forward to. Mexican America haven't really been featured that much on TV prominently since that whole Jeff Jarrett thing.
The kind of thing I would have done for this is maybe had British Invasion win the normal contender, go against Mexican Americas, and basically Pope and Devon to continue their hatred towards each other and have a match. Which is how I would have done it.
Yeah, I fully expect Mexican America to retain here. I don't see why they'd lose their titles a couple of weeks after getting them. So, especially on a fucking free episode of TNA Impact with Jeff fucking Jarrett at the head of it. I expect Mexican America to retain, do you?
Sure, yeah, so yeah, they'll retain.
Okay, next we have our Knockout Championship match. Match which you always look forward to, between Mickie James and Winter. Now, looking at the way this thing has been built up, we had Winter win the title at the last pay-per-view, and then we had Mickie James win it at a free TV show, and now these two are facing off again. It's just like, why didn't you just have Winter keep the title for the month, and then have Mickie James win it at the pay-per-view rather than at the free TV show?
That makes perfect sense, because, to be honest, because they've done that now, they've had Mickie James win the Divas Championship, the Knockout Championship on free TV. We know she's going to win the pay-per-view now. Yeah,
and we didn't really get too much build-up to the feud. I mean, Winter hasn't really been featured on TV that much as the Knockouts champion. And although Mickie James won a #1 contendership match against Madison Rayne, which we all knew she was going to win, I guess at least the match is pre-announced, and we knew. I mean, it was pre-announced on the fucking go-home show. But I expect Mickie James to win. I don't see why they'd make Winter win now.
No, not when they've just given Mickie James the championship. They wouldn't lose it just flash like that, not to Mickey James.
And I also think going into Bound for Glory, they're going to want their best knockout as champion. And I have the feeling that they might try and give the belt to Velvet Sky, but I hope they don't. I'll just Mickey James to retain easily.
Yeah, that's it.
It should be a decent match, though, I imagine. These two put on a somewhat decent match at the last pay-per-view. I expect a somewhat decent match between the two. Two very good accomplished wrestlers. So
should be an okay match.
Yes. Next, we have on the list, we have Brian Kendrick versus Austin Aries for the X Division Championship.
The big thing I want to say about this straight away, I've said this up to match after match after match, pay-per-view and all that. Brian Kendrick needs to lose that championship now, because him becoming the champion, he's not the greatest of wrestlers. So to lose it to someone as great as Austin Aries, it'll be a great match for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, and remember, we had Austin Aries win a gauntlet match to get this number one contendership. The feud itself has been featured very prominently on TV, which is good for an X Division feud. We've seen a lot of tension between Kendrick and Austin Aries. I am in total agreement with you though that Austin Aries needs to win this belt going into Bound for Glory. You want your best X Division guy holding that belt going into the top pay-per-view of the year. I fully expect Austin Aries to beat Brian Kendrick. I just think Austin Aries has got the whole package. He's got the mic skills, the charisma, and the in-ring ability, so I expect him to win.
In the last couple of weeks, he's been built up to look good. He's had his mic time, he's had his matches, so he's definitely been built up to look good. So for him to go against Brian Kendrick and win, I like it.
Yeah, same there. I think I hope he wins. I just hope they get that fucking belt of Kendrick. The Wizard, the fucking Wizard of Odd.
I think that's it, yeah.
I wonder if he'll wear a suit.
We'll see.
Anyway.
Now, the match I'm kind of looking forward to, based because even though it's done at the last minute, which is a problem, but the way the wrestlers in it, we've got Matt Morgan versus Samoa Joe.
Yeah. This is a match, I'll say one thing here. This is a match I would like to have seen at Bound for Glory, built to Bound for Glory, rather than see it now. Because the whole, I don't think the build-up to this has been. We've had one segment between the two, or one or two little segments between the two, where they've had a little bit of tension between each other. But we haven't really had anything properly announced. We didn't really know there was a match until we looked at Wikipedia or looked at the TNA website.
But the whole Samoa Joe wants to take wrestlers out on that. Him going against Matt Morgan, against a big guy that wants to knock him out flat. I think it should be an okay match. Yeah,
it'll be an okay match, don't get me wrong. I hope this match ends in some sort of disqualification or something, maybe a double DQ, have them brawl outside the ring or something, just so we can build this match as to a blow-off at Bound for Glory. I mean, I'd love to see this match at Bound for Glory along with matches like Daniels and AJ, RVD, Jerry Lynn, or Sting versus Hogan we're going to get. So to add that into the mix, I think really strengthen the Bound for Glory card, in my opinion.
It would, because obviously with these two wrestlers, we want to see them fight again. So go again and have it end as DQ.
Yeah. So we don't expect anyone to win, just a DQ finish. I think it makes sense, wouldn't it? In a logical booking world, a DQ finish would make sense with Joe, just going ballistic or something. It enhances his heel character, and it also helps Matt Morgan because we know he's got this injury. So focus on the arm or something.
That's it. Yeah,
I think that's the way the match will go.
True.
What's the next match, NJ?
We have a match that we heard on No DQ, plug there, and we have this Kurt Angle versus Sting versus Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, so basically the last 2 weeks on TNA Impact Wrestling, we've had Kurt Angle go against Sting and Mr. Anderson, and to me, this just hasn't been built up very well at all. I can see why it's a triple threat, but I don't know what it is. It was announced on the fucking Go Home show. It's not really properly built, in my opinion. I just think it's another way of getting Sting on the. I just think what I think they should have done was probably have Kurt Angle go against Anderson, save that from TNA Impact Wrestling, save that for the pay-per-view maybe, the rematch clause, and have Sting versus Flair on the pay-per-view. It would have given a bit more star power, in my opinion.
I think that's true, because Mr. Anderson, we want him in the top picture, back in it, because he kind of fell out of it, which is a shame. So to have him back in it, it should have been Angle versus Anderson at this pay-per-view. Yeah, but I guess at least we have a World Championship match, because I didn't think we were going to get one until the Go Home show. And the winner is basically Kurt Angle. He's going to do probably the Olympic style ankle lock to Mr. Anderson, just to leave that Sting and Angle looking strong for their pay-per-view. And
it all leads to Sting and Hogan, I guess, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
I really do hope Angle does win this, because I think Kurt Angle is the perfect guy you need to put over a guy that is going to win the Bound for Glory series of Bound for Glory. He's the perfect, because he can go against pretty much anyone. He can put on a great match, and to have him be the world champion, because he is probably arguably the best wrestler in that company. Have the best wrestler in your company be the champion, going into Bound for Glory, putting over a younger guy that can really help the younger guys such as Bobby Roode or James Storm or even Gunner, help them really develop as a wrestler and as a main eventer in the future.
I think that's going to be the case. Again, I'm kind of disappointed this match was thrown this way, because there's been no hype to it. But it's been announced, we're getting it, so I'm just saying Angle all the way.
And one thing I will say is, I'd hope this match isn't the main event. Just the way it's been built, it's not been built up as a main event. I'd rather see the Bound for Glory Series final as the main event.
Yeah,
should we talk about that now?
Let's go on to that.
Okay, the Bound for Glory Series semi-finals. We have Bully Ray versus James Storm and Gunner versus Bobby Roode. Who do we expect to be on the in the final, the main event, so to speak? Who would you like to see in the final? Who do you think?
Let's cancel it down. We're gonna have Gunner versus Bobby Roode, and I'm thinking this is gonna be Roode. Then we have Bully Ray versus James Storm. I'm thinking it's gonna be Bully Ray.
It could go either way for me, because you can either have James Storm versus Bobby Roode in a match which kind of ends Beer Money as a tag team, and it'll be a great match. Let's just think, these guys have been a tag team for ages. They've got very good chemistry in the ring. It would be a great match if this two went together, and it would be a great story. You know, two guys going after a singles championship after dominating the tag team division for the last year or so. So it would be a great story to have them in the final. At the same time, it'd be nice to have Bobby Roode versus Bully Ray, because you've got Bully Ray is kind of the more established guy in the business, and you know you could put over a guy like Bobby Roode.
Because the way I see it, we're gonna have big mouth, big guy, yeah. Bully Ray from Immortal versus the guy that's, as Dan was saying, been growing rapidly in the tag team division. And having them two against each other, I think it would make just a perfect ending.
And I expect Bobby Roode to win.
That'd be Bobby Roode to win.
Same here. We did a Bound for Glory Series video where we gave our thoughts on the Bound for Glory Series, good points, bad points, and improvements. We'll link it up here somewhere in the description box down below. So make sure you go check that out if you want our more detailed thoughts on the Bound for Glory Series itself. Just round it off with the thoughts on the BFG series, like the way it's been built, just the way it's been built to this.
But I'm going to say that obviously, so as I said at the beginning, matches thrown in, the ending of the final, basically, we had wrestlers that could have made it into the finals.
Yes.
But I think with these four, they're meant to be seen as TNA's top dogs, and then apart from Gunner. But I think that it's just basically thrown in like this.
Yeah, I think the final four was a bit weak. But as long as Bobby Roode or someone like Bobby Roode or James Storm wins, or even a Gunner, a younger guy that needs the rub going if they're going to be a main eventer, as long as a younger guy or less established guy wins this tournament, it would have done its job, which is to get a new main event guy, build up a new main event guy, so at the Bound for Glory you can win the title against Kurt Angle. As long as it does that, I am not too bothered.
That's very true. We'll go to overall thoughts now.
Yes, well, you might as well start, seeing as you mentioned it.
Well, basically what I'm going to say is that with pay-per-views, even the little throwaway ones, I do look forward to them because it's a big special part of the month. With this particular one, there's only a few matches I'm looking forward to. The knockout match, because I've been a fan of them now. The Austin Aries and Brian Kendrick, Samoa Joe and Morgan. The main events
should be BFG
series. Should be decent, yeah.
Yeah. I expect the BFG series final to be the main event. It should be the main event. The way the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match has been built, the way that this all leads into Bound for Glory, and the way this whole tournament has gone as a whole, this should definitely be the main event, in my opinion, the final of the BFG series to determine the #1 contender, just because of the meaning behind it. If you want my overall thoughts on the pay-per-view, it does seem like a little bit of a throwaway pay-per-view. It seems like it's more of a pay-per-view to build up to Bound for Glory rather than have it build up to this pay-per-view. But there's some decent matches on there which I want to see. I'm glad there's 2 X Division matches. I've always been a great fan of X Division action. Morgan versus Joe should be a good match. The Bound for Glory series semi-finals, similar as a King of the Ring in a way, isn't it? They're usually pretty good. Looking forward to the knockout title match. Not so much the tag team match, just because there's no beer money, but they're in the main event, so I can't be too fussed. Overall, I think this pay-per-view, it could be good if done right, and as long as the right guy wins at the end of the day, I think the pay-per-view will have a good feeling about it.
And I think the perfect way to end this pay-per-view off would be Angle looking at his future opponent.
Which hopefully would be Bobby Roode.
Yes, have them two in the ring at the end would definitely leave us with a good feeling going on to the rest of the show.
So I think it will pretty much be decided on who wins this main event. If the right guy wins, it will be a good pay-per-view in my opinion, because that is the focus should be on that Bound for Glory series since it's been built up for the last 2-3 months. That should be the focus of this pay-per-view. The Bound for Glory series getting the #1 contender for the biggest pay-per-view of the year.
And I quite like talk about that. I like the build that they've had. This has been built up over months now, weeks and months, and it's definitely got wrestlers' involvement. We've got the final, and definitely I think it should go on and be a good roundup for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, so let's hope this pay-per-view is a good pay-per-view. As we'll be watching it, and we will be reviewing it on Sunday. We'll make sure to get our review out as soon as we can after the pay-per-view is finished. And hopefully we'll see Bobby Roode winning that Bound for Glory series tournament. Have you got any last words before we leave this video, NJ?
Well, I'll wrap it up by saying this has been it from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. What's up?
Make sure you get your comments in the comment section down below, of course. Before we say goodbye, MJ.
And make sure you subscribe to us up above, like this video, comment below, and goodbye.